Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second segment. We are at the demonstration table. This is what happens in the field, as some of the machines that are normally used in the field when it comes to matters of environmental health and safety. And I'm still here with Madam Mary Waweru. So we are just here, the equipment, we just want to get to know what are these things. These things look very mysterious. Inakaa ni kama ile betri ya kuchaji ile ya kitambo. Unakumbuka ushago ukipeleka betri inachajiwa, mnaona nayo TV Great Wall inarudishwa.
Alright.
So is it that, or what is it actually? What do you have here?
Now when we go to the field, we are supposed to analyze several gases. How do you achieve that? This is called a probe.
A probe?
Yes.
So
it
like
has some filters inside which is able to pick the gases and store them in the filter, where we are now able, after we are done with the analysis, we get to the lab and we measure analytically that filter. And that filter is the one that now tells us how much was collected. Again, this machine is also real time. There are some gases that are actually being measured in real time. Meaning that as you measure them, they record and actually it prints for you.
Automatically?
Automatically.
Okay.
Because it's real time. So there are some that you need to come in and do the analytical weighing after the measurements and after the testing. But there are some that will just be collected and analyzed immediately and then printed. Yes.
So what did you call this machine again?
This is called a flue gas analyzer.
Flue gas?
Yes.
Flue,
These are the
flue ni ya kukohoa ama ni?
No, the FLUE, flue gas.
FLE.
UE.
Okay.
Yes.
Hapo kizungu amenipiga changa lakini sawa tu.
Those are the same gases earlier on we had said are the greenhouse.
So what are some of these gases, like if you just mention maybe by
Some
name?
of them are actually the standard. We have a standard which we compare the results against. And that's the standard that guides us on which gases to analyze, which they include the sulfur dioxide.
Sulfur dioxide.
It includes the nitrogen oxide.
Nitrogen oxide.
It includes nitrogen dioxide. It includes carbon monoxide. It includes carbon dioxide. It includes hydrocarbons. It includes, at times when you're going to Olkaria, there's a certain gas called hydrogen sulfide, the one that smells like rotten eggs. In Nairobi, the parameters is supposed to be hydrocarbon. You cannot fail to analyze hydrocarbon within the other cities. But if you go to Olkaria, apart from just hydrocarbon, you're supposed to do an additional gas, which is hydrogen sulfide.
All right.
And identify how much of it is there. Then after you identify, you compare against the standard and see whether they are within the parameters. They are called the acceptable parameters.
So this one is normally connected to this or something?
Yeah, this is connected here, here. And this other one goes in here. That makes it a complete
machine or something.
Okay. Then now you plug it to the power.
To the power.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then now you measure your gases.
You measure your gases, and the technical part is that you have to do analytical weighing.
So
that one you require an analyst qualified and approved by NEMA. In the time of analysis and in the time of designation, you are supposed to prove to the authority that you are having a capacity of the machinery, you have the capacity of your personnel, meaning that they are well trained. Most of the requirements are even you have to have a PhD in this line.
Wow.
Yes.
So those who do the analysis must be Collins Otas PhD.
Doctor.
Yes. I need to go back to school.
What? This is some of the basic.
So the minimum requirement is PhD
for an analyst.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. If you're out there and kuna certificate,
there's hope.
There is hope. But hapa PhD.
You can still start from somewhere, but there is hope.
Wow.
Nobody should be discouraged.
Wow.
But there is hope.
Wow.
Yes.
Are we done with here? Or there's anything that we've left out here, but maybe you want to share with us?
There is something else I would want to add, because we said there's a difference between the environmental standards and there's the difference between occupational standards. When you go to the field and you want to analyze the air quality affecting the workers, which is now the occupational air quality, we call it industrial hygiene. When you go to do industrial hygiene, you must now pick the same gases by name, but the standard to compare against is different. Same way, when you go to do the environmental, we call it ambient air quality monitoring, which is the analysis of air, which is affecting the environment after the production process.
Let me just ask a question. When you talk of ambient air, is it the natural air we breathe in, or it's another thing?
It's another thing. There's the ambient name that we know, but there's the specific ambient air quality analysis, which basically takes into consideration those same gases, the SO2, the NOx, the hydrocarbons, the carbon monoxide, but analyzed from the 4 parameter walls of every factory or industry. Looking into consideration that this is after the production process. Okay. So what are you emitting back to your
after the combustion and what have you?
Yes, that's why we emphasize, it emphasizes on the 4 parameter wall corners, the 4, so that we analyze if it is your neighbor on the right, on the left, on the east, on the west. Are you sending enough air, good air? Let me call it good air. That is after production, and if it is not, there are always mitigation factors, and those are the things that we need to advise on. Because in Nexton, we do not just do analysis and now leave you there. Yeah. We also go ahead and give you a solution. Yeah. If it is sulfur dioxide that is high, what can you do to?
So you recommend the solution to them?
Yes, the relevant solution.
Whether they implement or not, that is now none of your business.
No, whether they implement, honestly, I would not want to say it's none of our business, because air quality is our business.
It's your business.
But we are not enforcers.
No, yeah.
The authority that designates us, which is NEMA, is the one now who is an enforcer.
All right.
They're the ones who makes follow-up.
I get it.
And that's why after we do all this analysis, we have to submit a report to both the client, and the same replica of the report we take it to the government. So that in case there is any problem with a certain workplace or a certain industry, it is NEMA to enforce.
Wow.
So our work is simply to analyze and give the actual results based on what our findings were.
All right. So if you're watching us out there and you have these reports and maybe you've not implemented, we just want to tell you, like the common meme going around, Murife, don't run. There is always a solution. So they will just recommend, but NEMA will enforce. But before NEMA comes for you and you start running like Murife, please make sure that you are safe. Now maybe you can move to this one. This one over here.
This is actually a console.
A what?
A console.
A console.
A console is simply a big word to simply say it's a machine that has a capacity. It's a doyen in its own category.
Doyen. You know, in Kenya we only have one doyen.
It's a doyen in its own category because it's able to analyze particulate matter. Now, when we talk about particulate matter,
I remember that word.
Yes, it's basically dust.
Yeah. You see, you reminded me.
It's basically dust, but there is an industrial dust, not just the normal dust that we usually see after the car passes and you see the brown stuff. Not that one. We have 3 categories of dust, which is the particulate matter. There are 3 categories of particulate matter, which we have basically said is dust. And what informs this is the size of the micro diameter. It's called aerodiameter.
Aerodiameter. All right.
So there's PM 2.5, meaning that it has a aerodiameter of 2.5. There's PM 5, meaning that it has a aerodiameter of 5. And there is PM 10. Now, depending on the size, the smaller the size, the more destructive it is to your human system. Like 2.5 will be more destructive
Than a 10.
if breathed in over a long period of time than PM10. And the dust that you usually see out here, seeing it with physical eyes, that dust is not harmful because it's usually sieved at the nostril level. But the PMs, the ones we are talking about, the PM, the particulate matter, it has an ability, you cannot even see it, but it has a way of even penetrating deep into your lungs and deep into your system, even the blood stream, causing a lot of harm. Now this usually don't work alone. There's a stream of a tail of combination of several things that you need to put in place so that you achieve what we call method 5, USEPA. That method of collecting is called isokinetic sampling, so that you're able to collect the dust, the particulate dust. Is the method we use is method 5. That's what we are saying, the USEPA method 5. That basically informs, if you tell anyone who is now a doyen in this line and you just mention USEPA method 5,
they know
I'll
what you're
know
saying.
what I'm saying. And there are several methods from method 1, 2, 3, but 5 is the one we're talking about.
And I remember offline, there's this equipment that you actually had me put down here.
Yes.
So is it part of this, or
yes,
it works
it is.
around? Okay.
What
is it called?
This is called the probe.
The probe.
This
and it's very
can
heavy.
take the heat of up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Meaning that this is the one that now you, after you have connected all the other equipments, and this is also in place, from here, this is where you put it in the stack. Which is usually very high in terms of flue temperatures. The flue temperatures runs between 500 to 1,000 degrees Celsius. So this is able to withstand. And it is able now to bring in all the measurements of the particulate dust and the flue gas temperature, the velocity, which is equally important when you're analyzing to get the method 5 completed.
I want to rush us here before we finish, because let me just put this down here.
No problem. Now, moving faster, this is an air quality
now this
monitor.
one, yes.
This is what we use to analyze both the ambient air and the indoor air quality, which we said is, we also call it industrial hygiene. This has also the capacity of analyzing several gases. It has several features, as you can see. This is wind vane and wind soak and
water view. Yeah, I can
water
see
view. When the temperatures or when the gases are very high, it actually has a siren. It will indicate by making a lot of noise, meaning that they are way beyond
the limits. All right.
When you put it on, you will be able to see all the gases and the noise. It has even ability to measure the occupational noise and the environmental noise.
Wow.
Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, all that will be covered in here. And the reason why we have this equipment and many others, which we cannot be able to display all here, is because we want to position ourselves competitively in this market. We say that this is not a very populated market, but it's a market that is doable because we are having a passion. We are driven by passion.
Wow.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are driven by passion. That is the director, Nexton. And just before we finish, I want you to look at this camera here this is one Peter Mbogo. You're doing a great job behind the camera, Peter. I want you to speak to that lady, that man watching us out there on matters environmental safety, occupational safety, and what have you, in just 30 seconds before we end, because my director is on my case. So in just 30 seconds, just give your parting shot so that we can close the show.
The solution is less pollution. Let's strive to make our environment better for the generations to come and for ourselves.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That has been our show this evening. We've been talking to Mary Waweru from Nexton Limited on matters environmental safety, occupational health at the workplace. See you again next week for another amazing show. And just in case you're wondering where to find us, we are on Elevate TV, where we are advancing Kingdom lifestyle. We are out.